After dealing with most of the tasks that Geralt can do in the swamp, we can now head over to the Temple District. If you remember from last episode, Yevon asked Geralt to deliver a letter to Golden Vivaldi.
I have a message for you from Yevon.
Yevon? I don't need to read it. I know what he wants. Witcher know that whether elf, human or dwarf, they all want the same thing.
Gold?
Gold indeed. If you care to drop by later, you can collect my answer to Yevon.
Agreed.
But don't count on getting any gold from me. Yevon has doubtless promised you some already.
Basically, Yevon requires some gold from Vivaldi, and the latter needs some time to think about the response. Exit and re-enter Vivaldi's to get his response. Go to Raymond's house and talk with the detective. He will request 200 orens for the investigation, and he will say the prisoner stationed at St. Lebioda's hospital was moved elsewhere, but unfortunately died. Requesting Geralt to ask Shani to do an autopsy on the prisoner's corpse, he ends the conversation and starts Anatomy of a Crime. It is strange how Geralt's medallion goes crazy when near the detective, when before he didn't even flinch. And even stranger is the pack of fish tag on Raymond's desk. Some sort of new likings? Going near the cemetery, you'll find a gloomy woman stating that her late husband is haunting her and asks Geralt to put a stop to it.
Tell me more. Maybe I can help.
My husband died a month since, and now haunts me in my home, wailing nightly. But the worst thing is,
I'm listening.
worst, he flies around the cemetery at night shouting lies about me. Doubtless tongues are wagging already. Set him straight, I beg you.
This starts a restless ghost. Meditating until it's nighttime, you can find a ghoul and a wraith fighting near the cemetery. The wraith does make some unsavory remarks about his better half, and to put a stop, he needs to put to rest. Also, during nighttime, you can fight dogs to get dog tallow for a contract quest. If you are not comfortable doing this, remember that the stock of vendors may reset after 24 hours, so be sure to meditate for a long time so you don't have to kill innocent puppies. Get 6 dog tallows to have the right amount for the quest. When it's noon once again, talk with Ililgard Zolstak, the gloomy widow. She will ask for proof, which in the first place didn't ask for it, being minimally grateful for the Witcher ending the quest. Near the cemetery, you can encounter the gravedigger. He was the one who requested the 6 portions of dog lard, and giving it to him finishes the quest. You can inquire him about the prisoner's body.
A prisoner died recently. Is he in the cemetery already?
Don't know. You can have another body. They all reek the same.
I'm after a specific corpse.
Particular. Come back when you know what you want. Examining remains is an art. Always worthwhile to look deeper. But who does that concern?
With this line of dialogue, you can get a useful journal entry for medical science. Finally, you ask about the gate, and that you can deal with the problems behind the cemetery gate.
Why is the cemetery shut?
Because the dead refuse to rest in peace. Fear not, they stay in their graves in sunlight. Someone should tend to them, though. Perhaps someone will offer a reward, but for now, no one seems bothered.
I'll deal with it when you agree to pay me. For now, farewell.
Think putting a dead body to rest is easy? Do what you will. Perhaps the watch captain will reward you.
Won't hurt to check.
What do you need?
You seem to know a lot about the deaths in the city. Ever help with investigations?
Sometimes I inform Raymond about the more interesting dead men.
I don't trust.
Raymond? You wouldn't find a more loyal man.
He seems to be struggling with this case. I should help. Will you let me inside the cemetery?
City authorities prohibited it.
How can I change your mind?
I'd need Captain Mice's permission.
No other way to sway you?
Actually, I have a terrible debt with Toller. Clear those debts, the cemetery key's yours.
To get a quest, you must say that you don't trust the detective so much, and the gravedigger will ask you to either get a permit from the captain of the city guard or settle a debt from Toller. This begins a gravedigger's gratitude. Going over Kalkstein's house, you can say Vaska gave Geralt a tarot card and some information about the sentry. You can ask about the story of Herman the Mad, as well as how to activate the sentry. Geralt needs a lightning rod and put it on the sentry, whilst there is a thunderstorm when placing the rod. Kalkstein will give you a formula for another mutagen potion, the Golem's Pith. While near the area, you can go to Tallers to clear the Gravedigger debt. Go to the hospital and talk with Shani about the autopsy. She will say that this is illegal, but Geralt will ask anyway. Shani requires Geralt to speak about this subject during nighttime. Meditate with her and go to her house, talking about the autopsy. Go to the Erebarian and inform the innkeeper about Coleman's dealing. You can either choose to rat him out or to protect his secret. I chose the former, finishing the quest. Go to the Gravedigger to ask about the prisoner's body, and he requires some dwarven spirit, so be sure to have some with you before talking to him. Dwarven spirit comes in the form of Mahakam mead. Give it to him, and the body will be placed in the hospital by the evening. Do as required and meditate until the evening. Heading to the back rooms of the hospital, you will encounter Shani, ready for the autopsy. Note that to get the most of the autopsy and the correct results, you'll need to have journal entries for medical science and Zerrikania. Both can be obtained by reading the books Forensic Science and Zerrikanian Insects and Other Vermin. However, you can get these journal entries for free by talking to the Gravedigger, as I showed you earlier, and talking with the gardener when asked about his mercenary days, getting respectively medical science and Zerrikania.
Race, human. Gender, male. Wounds, extensive.
Shani, this isn't a lecture hall.
Whatever you say. He died yesterday, torn to pieces.
A werewolf?
The moon's shining. Wouldn't he turn into a lycanthrope?
I guess.
Geralt, no need to test me. I'm a professional. Moving on.
Could a human have inflicted these wounds?
Only with a 2-foot jaw.
The bone marrow has been sucked out. Must be scavengers.
Very likely. Plenty around the cemetery.
So, he was torn to pieces after he died. I'm interested in the cause of death.
I also see some stab wounds. A blade 2 fingers wide.
There will be an option that says external signs are in everything. His neck muscles and palms look tense. How do you know when he died? Select that to continue the right way.
External signs aren't everything. His neck muscles and palms look tense. How do you know when he died?
Normally I base it on muscle stiffness and dehydration, but rigor mortis is persisting for too long.
They say successful autopsies are based on curiosity. Should we look?
Let's check his internal organs.
Some kind of curse.
The symptoms are peculiar, and the cause of death, too.
Those wounds are too obvious. I suspect something more. Poison?
If so, a rare sword. Perhaps an alchemist's brew.
Kalkstein?
Ah! Liver's completely cirrhotic. It was obviously a potent poison. This stinks of alchemy.
Select the option, this is too easy.
This is too easy.
Life can be simple sometimes.
Are you certain poison is the only explanation for the unusual rigor mortis?
The most likely cause.
I have a sinking feeling there's more to this.
We can try the coroner's last resort, opening the skull. Opening the skull, always a pleasure. See that in the brain?
Larva of the Zerrikanian tsetse fly.
But how did they get in his brain?
It's part of their development cycle. If we were in Zerrikania, I'd say a fly crawled up his nose and laid its eggs.
We're in Temeria.
Our climate is too cold and dry for the tsetse fly. Even if someone brought eggs, how would they get up his nose?
What do these eggs look like?
Tiny, white, like flour.
Or Fistek? Geralt, I gave him Fistek before he died. He was suffering terribly, and we had no other anesthetics. I thought it was safe.
Where did you get it?
From your friend, the detective. He told me it was from special stock.
Raymond.
Then we have a problem.
He added eggs to the Fistek, then came here at night to fake the other evidence.
That doesn't sound like Raymond at all.
My medallion vibrates whenever I see him lately. And Zerrikania? That's where Azar Javad is from. The real Raymond may no longer be with us.
But I saw him just yesterday.
Azar's using an illusion, trying to manipulate me. Thanks, Shani. I couldn't have figured it out without you.
What will you do now?
I'll talk to Kalkstein first. He should help me prepare.
With all this done, we get to know that Raymond is not really Raymond, but is none other than Ajar Javed himself casting an illusion. This finishes the quest. Shifting completely the gears, we will now go to the sewers to complete what has been missing to be completed there. If you remember from the first episode of this chapter, we got a key from a Death Order Knight, and in the same episode, we got another key to complete the quest, Finders Keepers. Next to the sewer entrance, there will be a gate to enter a crypt. You will encounter many necrophages, such as Graveyears. Try to be cautious because these monsters can gang up on you and chip your health down with a lot of ease. If you follow the map, you can encounter the main chamber where you can find the said family ring, but if you explore, you can get a lot of valuables. With the family ring in hand and inventory, you can exit the crypt. You need to go to the opposite side of the sewers to enter another crypt, but this one has a different type of monster. This crypt is filled with valuables and mysteries. This is the lair of the Lionhead Spider cultists, and when picking up the key from the dead knight in the sewers, you start an official quest, the Cultist Crypt. You can kill each of the cultists to get XP, but as this is not an official quest, you won't get any XP by dealing with everyone. This was only for entertainment and completion. With all these endeavors done, try to meditate until 7 AM, because you will encounter at this time the conman. Deliver the ring to him and the quest will finish. Go to the cemetery and talk with the gravedigger. Announce that his debt was cleared from Tyler and you will now receive the keys to the cemetery. By getting the keys, you will also get the formula for Petri's filter. Inside the cemetery, go straight to the crypt to explore. You will encounter various necrophages, such as ghouls and alguls. Keep in mind that you need 3 algal marrows to finish the final contract quest. In the last chamber, after fighting the group of necrophages, you will encounter the body of Detective Raymond, confirming then the suspicion about Ajar Javed using an illusion to look like Raymond, and fooling us since he came out of hiding. After you did everything, you can get out of the cemetery and talk with the gravedigger. If you don't have all the algal marrows needed to complete the contract, there is another way to complete the contract. The gravedigger will be horrified when he gets the news about Raymond and his corpse, finishing the quest. With all these clues on the table, we can clear the suspicion of everyone that is left, Vivaldi and Coxstein. Go to Vivaldi's house and clear him out. You can of course clear him out with the autopsy results, or you can play the long game and get all the clues. You need 3 clues to prove his innocence. The first one you get from Jethro when talking about the professor, the second one you get from the wandering dwarf in the non-human district, and the third one you get from Yavin when asked about work.
Let's summarize.
Feel free.
You deal with the Scoia'tael.
Actually, they're trying to contact me. It's a big difference.
You have good reason to dislike humans.
Very observant.
The professor's bail was paid through your bank.
Whatever next?
I know beneath that mask of a sour cynic, you're a law-abiding dwarf, taught respect by his forebears. A dwarf who believes in justice and is trying to fit into human society.
I have little choice.
I don't believe you ever supported Salamandra.
I never figured you'd understand me. Zoltan was right to praise you.
Anytime.
Clearing his name ends the quest. Still in a non-human district, we shall go to a dwarven blacksmith to get the lightning rod required to activate the sentry. This service will cost 50 orens. You will need to exit and re-enter the house to pass the needed time. Going to the swamp again, and with the lightning rod on end, we need to go to the golem burial ground, located in the center of the swamp. You know you found the place when you see a lot of golems. The sentry that we need to attach the rod to is near some pillars, so before doing anything else, be sure that it is running and save the game because you will need it. This will be one of, if not the most daunting tasks in the game. You can kill the sentry by yourself, but it's not recommended to do so. To kill the sentry in 3 blows, you will need to run around and need to be precise. Very precise. These 3 pillars can be interacted with and will light up. When you light up a third one, there will be a lightning strike for everything that will be in the middle. Of course, if you are not even close to the middle, you will die immediately, so this requires the player to be meticulous. After 3 successful lightning strikes with the golem in the middle, you will be defeated. Loot him so that you can get the golem's obsidian art and the Netzah Sephira, concluding the quest. While in the swamp, we can deliver Vivaldi's letter to Yevon in the Druid's Grove. However, looking around, you'll find out that Yevon is nowhere to be found. Talking to some druids, we get to know that he went on a mission to a nearby elven camp, north of the Brickmaker's village. Reaching that camp, you will encounter various Coyotel warriors, and, commanding the group, Yevon. Talking about Vivaldi's response, you will be surprised that he didn't get any incentive, but will be thankful anyway, completing the quest. If you don't have sufficient algal marrow, you can meditate until it's midnight, and go near the collapsed tower. Encountering various necrophages, there will be some alguls, and by defeating them, you can get your marrow for the contract. Still in the swamp, if you go in between the Druid's Grove and the Lumberjack Glade, you will encounter various knights of the Order of the Flaming Rose stationing an encampment and leading the unit Siegfried. Talking to him, we get to know that a battle is approaching between the two factions, Scoia'tael and the Order of the Flaming Rose. This event will start the quest Force Recon, and it is a crucial quest regarding the path that you need to take. You can choose either side or stay neutral, not doing the quest. As this is everything you can do, at this moment I will choose to aid the Order, only because we are on much more friendly terms than the Scoia'tael. Despite being crucial, this is not by far the most important decision you can make at this point. Siegfried will ask you to lead the troops to the Golem Barrow ground to fight the Freedom Fighters. With this done, you can go back to him and finish the quest. With all this done, go to Kalkstein's house to deliver the algal marrow. You'll be thankful finishing the quest. You can also clear him of suspicion. There are 3 clues needed. The first one you get from the prisoner in St. Lebioda's hospital, the second by talking to Tyler about Berengar, and the third one we get from the autopsy. This will finish the quests, Suspect Kalkstein and What Lies Beneath. With the investigation out of the way, we need to finish what needs to be done in the Temple Quarter. During nighttime, go to Shani's house and talk with her. As thanks for a successful autopsy, we get to have a party with Shani and Dandelion. However, we need alcohol to do so. If you have been exploring, you must have found the alcohol needed, but if you don't, you can go to the inn and buy it from the waitress wandering around. You will need Matina Rose, Sherry Spirit Cordial, and Tamarian Rye. With this in stock, we can tell Shani that we have the required booze, and she will request that we invite someone. There are 3 people we can invite: Zoltan, Siegfried, or Carmen. I chose to invite Zoltan. Before starting, be sure to get some red roses from the gardener, being useful for later. With all this, we can go to Shani's and get the party started. We see for the first time Dandelion and talk with him. We discuss some events that happened and Zoltan arrives. We talk, we drink, and finally, we are requested to get something to eat, such as the grandma's pickles and lard. We get the food and go upstairs. When we are at the eye of the party, Dandelion will sing a song.
I think I know the perfect song for Zoltan.
We'd love to hear it.
Sing away, Dandelion.
By the woods can you see Wolf in all his might, grinning madly, wagging gladly, bouncing with delight. My oh my, what a sight! Why no melancholy? Must be that, still not wed, that is why so jolly. Ow, ow, ow! In the grass, can you see? Wolf just limps along, looking down, awful frown, crying like a dog. Why is this mighty beast so badly rampaged? Must be that, freshly wed, or lately engaged. Ow! Ow! Ow!
After that, the party is over, but we can do so much more. We can talk about certain events from Geralt's past. With red roses in hand, give them to Shani, and we can get the 5th and final romance card of Chapter 2 and the 9th in the game. This finishes the quest. Finally, we can talk with Raymond about the autopsy, saying that he didn't conclude anything. He will need to think about it, so returning to him, he will conclude that Ramsmeat and Kalkstein were associates, and he asks us to kill Ramsmeat. After fake killing Ramsmeat, we return and get to construct a plan for Azar. He will have the final Sephiroth, Cathar. This starts the quest Monoliths. We will go to the swamp and place all the Sephiroth in their corresponding obelisks. we will do a grand tour around the whole swamp to place the Sephiroth. It is fairly easy to do. After we place all the Sephiroth, the quest will finish, and we can go talk to Raymond near the magic tower. We enter the tower and see this circle of elements. Interacting with it, we get the final sign, Axie. Loot the chest and get out. A cutscene will start.
You'll soon learn the truth. Excited?
More than you think. Just one question. Where did you get the idea to assume Raymond's identity?
Clever. From you, of course. He was getting close and you trusted him. I would have been foolish not to take advantage of the situation.
Did you forget it would put you face to face with a Witcher? Well, I'd be foolish not to take advantage of this situation. Enough chatter. Now kindly lead me to where you've hidden the items stolen from Kaer Morhen.
Azar Javed reveals himself and we need to fight a spectral ghost. Dealing with him, another person will arrive.
I come at your command, Master. I listen and obey as a genie would.
Professor, cut the crap and get him.
You see, Witcher? Too much water around for Hazard to feel comfortable. Fire mages limited. He needs me to do the wet work.
Good. 2 worms with 1 stone.
The Professor and Azar will team up against Geralt in the climax of the chapter. You don't need to do damage, or if you do, it will be so little, but it doesn't matter. This is the end of chapter 2, and next time we'll begin chapter 3. This is everything you can do in The Witcher 1. My name is Wedoo, and I'll leave you with a cutscene and a decision slide. Bye bye!
Let the Witcher get the better of you. You nearly got me killed.
Silence. Back to the base of the trade quarter. Hurry before he recovers.
We should meet again, freak.
All felt the battle in the swamp was the beginning of events that would soon rock Temeria. Sensing the approaching conflict, both sides were eager to test the enemy. A routine skirmish between patrols erupted into a regular battle. Led by unwavering faith, the Knights of the Order showed greater determination and emerged victorious. The Scoia'tael learned that freedom could only be achieved by shedding blood, their enemies and their own. Azar excluded me from the battle. When Triss woke me, heaps of bodies appeared before my eyes. It was the last time I was able to avoid taking sides.